The Art and Industry Trust was set up in 1999 to establish the SCAPE Christchurch Biennial of Art and Public Space. It provides a meeting ground between artists and industry to develop new and unique artworks for Christchurch City. Turkish artist Ahmet Ogut's Waiting for a Bus received excellent feedback in our market research. Placed outside the Canterbury Museum, one survey respondent reflected, "All too often you hurry past things you have grown up with. This made me pause and really look." Anton Parsons' Passing Time was installed just prior to the September earthquake. This artwork and SCAPE permanent installations from previous biennial events still stand tall in the city. Richard Maloy created a daily sculpture called Green Structure 2 in Auckland during the Auckland Art Fair. Ruth Watson's Swamp created an unexpected and dramatic effect when it was projected onto 2 silos at Waterfront Auckland in August. Ash Keating's Gardensity project was installed outside the Christchurch Art Gallery and became a very pertinent discussion point at the time when the city was considering its new central city plan.
To me, SCAPE can most importantly create moments within a very changing city for people to pause and reflect both upon the history and the future of the city.
We need something that's of interest, something that will show people in 100 years' time, what art was like at this era.
Creates this vibrance, creates a knowledge of what's going on, creates a place of well-being that we want to be a part of as we go forward.
Oh, public art's fantastic. When you go travelling around the place and you see what's happened with art and how it's included in buildings and in public spaces, it's that little element of delight.
I think art forms a really important part of our built environment, and when I got introduced to the SCAPE concept, I became really passionate about the idea of large-scale cool artworks that industry can be involved with constructing.
When you encounter public art, you often do so without the sort of intentionality or preparedness that you do when you enter into a gallery. So public art can very quickly spark or trigger unexpected responses in people and can draw them, cohere them into communities and ways of thinking and quite strong responses.
It just brings the whole thing, it brings the vibrance of a city out, makes things look alive. We can go and see it and touch it, feel it and be a part of it and enjoy it in an everyday being.
And I think also of the contribution of the moment that you made that decision that you would proceed with SCAPE. Because so many of the decisions that we have to take, that have been taken so far, but so many more decisions that we have to be taken in the context of real belief and faith and optimism. And exactly that took place at that moment, whenever it was, when you said, well, we're going to do this.
SCAPE has had to, due to the Christchurch earthquakes, postpone its biennial on 2 occasions, originally planned for September 2010 and then again for March 2011. The earthquakes disrupted our plans twice. We've had to rethink considerably our plans, and we've worked with our fantastic partners and sponsors and funders. We've had 100% support behind us from everyone involved in SCAPE.
We're standing now between Flower Power and Nucleus, and just over my shoulder, Nucleus is going round. It's not terribly windy today, so it's going round quite slowly. Fantastic piece of art. It's a landmark where it is.
As the artwork's proving that it's a bit more permanent than the buildings. The nature of it tends to be that it's well positioned in the cities and it's built to last.
The wealth of a city is judged by the quality of its buildings, its social infrastructure, its fabrics and its arts.
Christchurch as a whole, as part of its rebuild, has got to create a wonderfully vibrant and exciting cityscape in which people will interact, and I think art plays an enormous part in that.
SCAPE have plans for a very dynamic education program going forward. We have tested the water for the 6th SCAPE. Although many of our plans were not able to be realised, we did realise one fantastic program, which was rebuild a recyclable city out of recyclable materials. We have plans for the 7th SCAPE to have an even more vibrant, even more dynamic, even larger education program. Fanfare is a sculpture which has been gifted by the City of Sydney to Christchurch. As our commitment to public art, we will project manage and install this artwork at a landmark site in Christchurch. Watch this space.
SCAPE has got a wonderful opportunity to put in place large pieces of art on a temporary basis on some of what are quite blank canvases now, barren bits of Christchurch, to really provide something a little bit special as the rebuild comes together.
Christchurch City have had a lot of experts in from Denmark, etc., looking at urban design. They've all told the same story. Public art, there must be public art.
Well, Christchurch is in an extraordinary position of rebuilding, rethinking itself, redeveloping, in many ways recreating itself, at the same time as remaining connected to what's a really important sense of its history, sense of its location, sense of its place.
Public art in any city is a vital part of the community, but in a rebuilt city, I think the art and industry and the SCAPE program is very poised to rebuild in September 2013 with our SCAPE program.
SCAPE is an absolutely vital entity in the production of public art that is not just the building of an urban environment, the creating of a sort of vital, exciting urban environment, but also art as a model of rebuilding communities.
So I think we've got a good opportunity to be part of the rebuild, which of course is huge, as everybody knows. It really is a huge task to get this city up and running, and art will play a big part.
The other thing too is that it will really drive some great outcomes. All around the world where I go, there are places where art's incorporated into buildings and it's fantastic. So an opportunity to get that done would be great for the city, because we haven't done a lot of it in the past and it's missing.
But I think SCAPE has a very important role to play in the Christchurch rebuild or in the Canterbury rebuild, working with council and industries and trying to bring art out into the street.
Art does not die, it does survive, and it will be part of a super city, I'm sure, with the help of everybody.
The vision of SCAPE is, it's to be better than it would have been this time. We've learned a lot. We've actually got a lot more experience now, and I think we've got an opportunity to do something that will be of international standard.
The 7th SCAPE will showcase new artworks in Christchurch's public space by local Christchurch artists, by local New Zealand artists and by international artists, showcasing public art in the central city for Christchurch people to engage with and enjoy.